thank you for joining us for this week's edition of It's Your City. I'm your host, Cortney Bloomer, here in our studios at the Brewery Arts Center with this week's guest, Carson City Fire Chief Schreihans. Hello, thanks for joining us.
Hi, how are you today?
I am doing well. Thanks for being here.
Oh,
your first visit on the show.
It is.
We are glad to have you and thrilled that you could make it today because we've got some important stuff to talk about with regards to fire safety.
Right.
It's winter, and so people are having some things that might be going on in their home, holiday decorations, trying to heat the house, that could cause a risk for fires.
Right. There's a lot.
So, exactly. So starting out, I guess the first thing that comes to mind are fireplaces. People are now heating their homes with wood-burning fireplaces, wood stoves.
Right.
What are some things that people should know about that?
Well, the main thing is you really need to get your chimneys cleaned, and there are some chimney sweeps that are out there that will come and professionally clean that. It's a big priority because creosote builds up as you bank down your stoves. The heat doesn't always go through the system, and then it creates creosote inside the chimneys, and that's what happens. And then as you have fires in there, then that stuff can burn with inside the chimney, and people think, well, big deal, it's in a chimney. The problem is the chimneys are designed for smoke, not for fire. So if there's a fire inside the chimney, especially the old brick ones, sometimes they can have little holes in them, and that will catch the rest of the house on fire because the fire goes out through the roof, and that's a problem.
Yeah, we don't want to see that.
No, we don't.
So these chimneys are actually, you can actually, from fire in the chimney, it can spread out to the rest of the house.
Correct, because chimneys are designed for smoke, they're not designed for fire. So as the creosote builds up, it creates a layer on the inside of the chimneys, and that's what catches on fire, and it creates this shooting flame coming out of the top. And sometimes if you don't have, if there's cracks, or if everything isn't put together exactly right sometimes, then that fire will get on the outside of the building. And then also, if you have some of the old wood shake roofs, some of the sparks can fly out on top and then catch the roof on fire. That's some of the issues that we have.
So clean your chimney.
Yep.
Don't leave that fire burning.
Well, you can leave it burning, and especially at night, like some of the folks are using it with their heat, if that's what they're using to heat their house. But once, if you keep doing it constantly and banking it way down and you close all the vents down, that's kind of what creates the creosote inside the chimney. So as long as you get it cleaned once a year, you're okay. You just have to make sure you get it maintained and cleaned.
All right. And after the fire is out and you're disposing of those ashes, we had a fire in Reno just a few years ago that was caused by some ashes that were not disposed of properly.
We have a lot of fires caused by ashes.
So what should people do with those ashes?
What you really need to do is put them in a metal bucket. Okay, what people do is put them in a plastic bag, they'll put them in paper bags, and they think, oh, they're out. Well, ashes stay hot for a week, at least. So if you put them in a paper bag and you leave the paper bag inside your house, 12 hours later, your house will catch on fire. The other thing is, if you leave them outside in the middle of the yard. Don't put them up against the house. Because if the wind picks up or if it catches on fire, then it blows against the house and catches the house on fire. Happens to us all the time. The best thing to do, take a metal bucket, put it in there, put a lid on it, throw it outside, let it sit there for a few days, and then you can dispose of it.
All right, good to know. Because I think a lot of people, like you said, they think that the fire is out, we're done here.
Right.
Not the case.
We've been on countless fires because of ashes. Yeah.
All right, so we've got a couple tips so far. Clean the chimney, dispose of the ashes properly. It's holiday decoration time.
Right.
People want to plug in like 100 strings of Christmas lights
They do.
at once.
Into the little tiny extension cords, right?
So what are some tips for making sure that those decorations are not going to burn your house down?
Well, a couple things. One is if you're going to get a live tree, right, make sure that you water it, that it's not super dry, and where if you touch the needles, they just break off. That's a problem for us, okay? Because they're like little gasoline cans inside your house.
In your house.
In your house.
Right,
they
you guys
are.
talk about the junipers in the front yard always
Right.
as the little green gas cans,
It
but
is.
the Christmas tree
trees
is the
are
same
exactly
thing.
the same. If they're super dry, they instantly go up like a candle. So you just have to be really careful about what you're doing with those. Most of the time, there's not an issue. They're nice. They're green. They're wet. Everything's fine. It's just if you put it in November and leave it till February and it's dry, dead in your house, that's a problem. So some people do that, and we try to say, hey, you want to throw the tree outside at least, right?
Get it outside.
Yeah, get it outside. So the other thing is too, some of the extension cords that people use, they use these really thin 2-wire cords, and they'll plug in 30 strands of lights to it. Well, those overheat the cords, and they're not designed for that. So they make really nice rated cords for Christmas tree lighting. They're big, thick, green, and they have automatic shut-offs, and they're good. That's what you guys should use.
Right, and follow the directions on the lights. If it says connect 5 strings of lights.
Don't put 10.
Exactly.
Right. It's all about watts, and it's all about what it takes and everything else. Exactly.
So candles also are pretty big this time of year. What should
Right.
people do with their candles?
Well, again, we've had numerous fires with candles, and people think, oh, it's no big deal, I'll just put it on my counter. Well, especially if you have cats, cats will knock over candles. And also dogs and kids and everything else. So just your typical candle safety, put it up where you have it somewhere where it's going to be safe. Don't forget not to blow it out at night. If you leave, blow the candles out, because if you have pets in the house, they can knock it down. The other thing is you should always put your candles out anyway. If you're not there, don't have an open flame in the house. If nobody's there to correct it, you can have a little tiny earthquake and knock it over and something happens, right?
Or all kinds of things can
knock over candles. And then, especially during the holidays, because everybody likes to light them and have them around, if you have a Christmas tree, keep the candles away from the Christmas trees.
Right.
Don't put the candles in the trees. Right?
Not a safe idea.
Exactly.
So what other kind of things do you guys see a lot over at the fire department that cause these fires? Is there anything else people should know about?
Just in general, the other thing too is now that it's cold, obviously you should probably have your furnaces serviced, because we're worried about carbon monoxide, and to make sure there's nothing wrong with the heaters itself, because sometimes they can have a cracked heating box, and that can create just some carbon monoxide. Make sure you have a carbon monoxide detector in your house, and you want to put those low, okay, not up high. You have to go low, because the gas is lower than air.
All right, and people might not know that.
People
if you're
don't know
plugging
that.
in your carbon monoxide detector, this isn't like the smoke detectors that are up in the ceiling.
Right. Carbon monoxide
Low
goes
to the
down,
ground.
smoke goes up. Right.
All right.
Yeah, that's why they're always.
And
supposed
also
to be lower.
maybe check your smoke detectors as well.
We
Check your
had a
smoke
fire
detectors.
not too long ago, and the smoke detectors didn't go off. So that's a really big important thing, especially if something happens at night when you're sleeping. You want those detectors to go off. That's the whole idea behind it.
Absolutely.
Right.
So some good tips. It is the cold season. It's always a tragedy when we have someone who's out of their home because they've lost their home due to a fire. So anything we can do to prevent that, especially now around the holidays.
Just had one 2 days ago. So, and that's a total loss of her house, which is sad because it's the holidays, all your stuff is in there.
Right.
And so it's a problem for us.
Right. So follow these tips. Keep your house safe. The kinds of things that people should be doing all the time to keep their home safe. Is there some sort of decal? What if people have pets? What should they be doing to make you guys aware of that?
We usually figure most people do have pets for us. So if there's a fire or if there's a problem in the house and we know there's pets, we try to find them and get them out. But they're usually pretty smart. If there's something wrong in the house and you open the door, they're out, right? I would say sometimes the pets are probably smarter than some of the people because they know how to get in and out really fast, right?
Right. So the pets are, they're like, oh, the house is burning down, we should leave.
Yeah, exactly. We're out of here.
Now, the fire department obviously is busy responding to fires and other emergencies in our community. You guys are always ready for that. But aside from your emergency response efforts, the fire department is involved in a couple of really great charitable things that are going on this holiday season. First off, Operation Warm. Tell us about that.
Well, the Carson City Firefighters Association, which is a group that's within the fire department, they are having a big coat drive. And actually, I think we just got the coats delivered. They're getting ready to drop those off this week. And what we do is we find underprivileged in the community, and those guys went out and bought brand new coats for everybody. Got some donations. I think they got about $7,000 worth, and plus some of their own association funds to put that together to give out brand new coats to kids who are in need to stay warm for this winter.
All right.
So it's really a great program.
That is fantastic.
It is.
And we've had some really cold weather.
It has been. So it's an awesome project.
I think we've got another cold one coming in here in a few days.
We do. Right.
So we want to make sure that everyone in our community is taken care of.
Right.
In addition to the coat drive, you guys just this past weekend went with the sheriff's department to hold the holiday crawl. What was that about?
Yeah, it's a holiday crawl. Basically, it's a Santa crawl. I'm not exactly sure why it was called the holiday crawl, but I mean, it is because it's the holidays. But it's basically, it was a pretty good fundraiser for everybody. They were selling tickets, and they had it on 3rd Street in Carson, and they shut everything down. They had multiple restaurants that were involved, and there was a bunch of folks there. They had a bunch of bands up. It was a little cold out that night, but it was a pretty good turnout. This was the first annual one, so I'm sure this will continue to grow and be a bigger and bigger process over the years.
Right, and all of downtown was shut down,
Right.
the streets in that area, so that people could walk around from place
right,
to
to be
place
safe,
and enjoy the event safely.
Right.
Why did this happen?
Well, it was an effort between the Sheriff's Department and the Fire Department, and it's Shop with a Hero. So they use those funds that they donate to go ahead and they take kids to the Walmart and let them buy, I believe it's $100 worth of stuff for each of their kids or their family, and they have somebody that walks them through and takes care of it. It's a great program. Helps
Right.
the kids out that don't have it, and then they are able to go to the store with either the Fire Department
And
or the
pick
Sheriff's
things up
Department.
for themselves and also for their families.
Correct.
A really great event that has been going on in Carson City for a number
We've been doing it for a long
of
time.
years now,
Right.
and gives those kids an opportunity to get out and meet with some of our heroes in uniform,
Right.
and develop those relationships between you guys and the
Right.
kids
Between
in
the
the
Sheriff's
community.
Department and the Fire Department, it's a pretty awesome program.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Chief Schreihans, for joining us today.
Oh, you're
It
welcome.
has been really educational, and hopefully some folks are watching and finding ways to make their house safer this holiday season.
All right.
Thank you and the rest of the fire department for keeping our community safe. And anything else you want to mention today?
No, just have a happy holidays and be safe, and make sure that if you're using candles and cords, make sure they're all up to date, and don't leave candles unattended, and make sure you have your chimneys and stuff cleaned, and hopefully we don't see you. That's the best part.
Hopefully you are not at our houses for the holidays.
Exactly.
In an emergency capacity.
Right. We like to see you, but not in emergency for
Right.
that. Right.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks to all of you for joining us for this week's edition of It's Your City. I'm Cortney Bloomer. We'll see you next week.